Well, welcome to Ask a Responsive Fundraiser, where we like to take your questions to a fundraising expert so that ultimately you can grow giving and generosity. Today, we're taking your questions to Bailey Huston. Bailey's the Partnerships and Integrations Manager at The Giving Block. And in this role, she manages fundraising-focused partnerships, including crypto and stock integrations, as well as co-marketing initiatives to really promote the opportunity with non-cash donations. Before joining The Giving Block, Bailey spent 8 years in the nonprofit sector, building partnerships across nonprofits, schools, and corporations. Bailey, thanks so much for taking the time to answer some questions today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, let's jump into the first one. It's this. Donors today expect options and flexibility in how they give. So how can nonprofits create a giving experience that meets donors where they are, whether that means cash, stock, crypto, or other assets?
This is a fantastic question. So I think the biggest thing to think about when it comes to the giving experience is when it comes to giving, donors want choice, they want convenience, and they want control, right? So it's the same flexibility that they expect from other consumer experiences, like if they were to go buy a pair of shoes. So by meeting donors where they're at with a diverse set of giving options like crypto, stock, cash, donor advised funds, you're really allowing donors the opportunity to give in a way that aligns with them as well as their financial situation. So when it comes to crypto and stock specifically, I think one really great thing to note when you might be thinking through, okay, well, why does the donor even want to give these non-cash assets is when it comes to crypto and stock, donors are really motivated to give these assets to a charity directly as an asset because of the tax benefits. So when you give crypto and stock, you can avoid paying capital gains tax on that asset. So for a lot of these donors, they're really incentivized and motivated to give them as an asset to the charity versus having to cash it out, pay capital gains tax, and then give the charity the cash from there. So when kind of thinking through your giving experience by having some more flexibility, you're also opening up the opportunity to potentially some more major gifts just by giving donors the opportunity to look at all their assets and see what makes the most sense to use to support your organization. So I think overall, just the more options you can have in your toolbox for donors to give, the better position you're at.
Yeah. It allows for more streams of resources and ultimately helps fuel the mission forward.
For
That's
sure.
awesome. Okay, question number 2. Responsive fundraising depends on listening to donor signals and acting on them in real time. So what are some of the data points or donor behaviors that nonprofits should be paying more attention to right now?
That's another great question. And I think when it first comes to thinking about crypto, I know a big question we get from a lot of nonprofits is like, what is even the opportunity there? So one thing I always like to say is crypto fundraising is really starting to become the norm, especially for a lot of charities. So it's estimated that in 2024, over $1 billion was donated using crypto.
Wow.
So that is a huge pool of funds of really donors signaling that this is a form of payment that they want to use when it comes to supporting their favorite charities. Another big question we get, when you see that number that nonprofits might have is, okay, well, who's giving these donations? We don't know if we have anyone even in our network that would want to give crypto. And so when we come to looking at crypto donors, kind of 3 data points around this donor behavior of who's giving that I always like to highlight is that they are younger, they're generous, and they're wealthy. So the average crypto donor is about 38, so pretty significantly younger than what we see with traditional cash donors.
Yeah.
They're also wealthier, so the average income of a crypto donor is about $100,000, and they're also generous. So the average crypto gift size that we see is just over $10,000. And about 45% of crypto users are likely to give at least $1,000 or more.
Wow.
I think those are some really great signals from, donors, especially, when I was in the nonprofit world, one thing we were always thinking about is how do we get these younger donors in our database? And I think crypto specifically is such a great way to do that. And so really kind of paying attention to that of not only who you might have in your own database that fits that mold, but also a great way to bring in some of those new donors of really finding your organization through kind of these non-cash giving options.
Yeah, those stats are really powerful, but also I think, like you said, really highlights the opportunity with a demographic that I know a lot of nonprofits really want to connect and engage with.
Definitely.
All right, question number 3. Many leaders worry that investing in new giving channels will stretch their teams too thin. So, how can organizations adopt innovative tools in a way that supports their mission without overwhelming or burning out their staff?
That is something that we hear a lot from nonprofits that we work with, especially when I was in the nonprofit world. I know that many nonprofit staff are wearing a lot of different hats. So feeling like you need to add non-cash expert as another hat can sometimes feel overwhelming. I think the biggest thing to note here is when it comes to adding non-cash like crypto and stock, you do not need to overhaul your entire fundraising strategy
Mm,
to benefit from crypto and stock giving. You can simply integrate it into what you're already doing really well when it comes to fundraising or major gifts. One thing that I think makes the crypto community especially really unique is that there is a community behind it. So, we don't see like a credit card community with some of these other giving methods. With crypto, there is a strong, active community behind it. So, a lot of nonprofits are really actively looking for nonprofits that they can support. So, the main things to think about when it comes to adoption are really making it easy to find, easy to give, and telling people about it. So, easy to give, really having an optimized giving experience. So, making it secure, fast, seamless for your donors to give crypto or stock to your organization. You can use a platform like the Giving Block that also will help with the auto conversion and some other tools around that. But just making it easy to give is the biggest thing. The next is easy to find. So a lot of crypto donors, like with that crypto community, are looking for nonprofits specifically that will accept non-cash gifts. So
mm,
boosting it in your SEO, using keywords like donate Bitcoin animal shelter or donate crypto hunger, really kind of tying your cause together with the ability to donate crypto. And then the last is just telling your donors that you accept crypto and stock. So anytime you're talking about fundraising, whether it's an email blast, a capital campaign, social post, make sure to remind your donors that you accept these non-cash gifts, whether it be crypto, stock, donor advised funds. It's kind of like the equivalent if you were to have a major gifts button on your website, but then you never told anyone about it,
yeah.
never promoted it, you probably wouldn't see a lot of traction come through. And these kind of unique, complex non-cash assets, it's the same way. You have to let your donors know that you accept it and remind them. But again, I think the biggest thing to know for nonprofits is if this feels overwhelming from you, you do not have to overhaul everything. Just look at ways that you can fit it into your fundraising strategy that you're already doing well.
Yeah. And I'm always amazed at how much you need to over communicate. It feels like, well, we've said this before and you probably need to say it 5 more times.
100%. And the thing is too is you can just add it, have a line, right? Anytime you're asking for donations, have a line in there and say, hey, did you also know that we accept crypto stock, donor advised funds, gifts? It's that constant reminder of donors. And then once they're ready to do it, making it really easy for them to give that gift.
Yeah. Okay, question number 4. With so much focus on short-term campaign revenue, it can be easy to overlook long-term donor potential. So how do you think expanding giving options changes the way that we think about lifetime donor value?
So I think the biggest thing to first think about is, especially with crypto being held by so many younger donors, this is such a great way to bring more lifetime donors into your organization. So whether that donor is able to give a major gift right away because you're accepting crypto, or maybe they're starting smaller, by having some of these more, tech forward, younger giving options on your platform, you're using the opportunity to bring some of these donors in at the younger age, and then they really continue to grow and give more to your organization throughout their lifetime. So I think crypto is such a great opportunity, not only for, bringing in these major gifts, especially with the average gift size being over $10,000, like that's a major gift, right? But it also has the opportunity to bring in some of these maybe smaller gift size that are donors that will continue to have a lifetime with your organization. So I think that's one thing to think about. And the other that I always love to talk about with crypto and stock is the great wealth transfer.
Mm.
So over the next couple decades, about $124 trillion is expected to move from baby boomers into the hands of the next generation.
Mm.
And that shift is really important to think about, especially for nonprofits, because when this money is changing hands, it's a cultural shift, right? So how baby boomers preferred to give is much different than Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. And so this is a new generation of donors that's stepping up and will have a lifetime of giving ahead of them. So I think, when really thinking through these younger donors and kind of starting to build up your base, it's thinking through what are their expectations of how they'll give, why they'll give, and making sure that you're meeting those.
That is super, super helpful, Bailey. Thank you. Just before we go, can you give people some direction where they can go to connect with you and the team and learn more about the Giving Block?
Yes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the Giving Block, you can go to our website, thegivingblock.com. Just for our super quick pitch, we do crypto stock donor advised fund fundraising for nonprofits. So really giving you the tools to not only accept it in an easy way, but how to actively fundraise it as well. So if you want to find out more just about non-cash asset fundraising or how to get started, you can go to thegivingblock.com and find out a little bit more.
Excellent. Well, Bailey, thank you again for your time today, for sharing your wisdom and expertise. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having me.